Next up, at UFC Vegas 61, we have Mike Davis taking on Viacheslav Borshchev. Mike Davis is 9-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming back after almost 2 years away. Viacheslav Borshchev is 6-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off his first UFC loss. Mike Davis is coming back after a year and a half away, but he has had a handful of canceled fights in that. So, potentially he's been getting ready, preparing, and just timing hasn't worked out for him. Style-wise, he's a fast, athletic striker with very real power. His kicks are incredible, and he will double tap the body, then hit the head before putting his foot back on the mat. He's incredibly well-rounded and has showcased that in his last 2 fights where he had a combined 5 takedowns. Viacheslav Borshchev is a fantastic striker with a legitimate professional kickboxing career before transitioning to MMA. He's got a great jab, solid power, and fantastic kicks. He is the team alpha male striking coach and looked like absolute trash in his last fight.
Whoa.
His wrestling looked good in his last fight.
It didn't look awful.
He was taken down 17 times by a striker.
I know, but no, I'm not really a striker. We've seen Mark wrestle before, and he went all in the wrestling, and I thought he held his own.
He got taken down 11 times. How was that holding your own?
I mean, he didn't quit.
Okay. Now, nobody called him a quitter. Said his wrestling looked like shit. And now you feel stupid because you forgot he was taken down 11 times.
No, I knew.
Anyway,
I rewatched the fight. I rewatched all the fights, and I thought he didn't look awful. He knew what he knew what he had to do. He just couldn't do it. There's a difference between being clueless.
Jesus Christ, dude. He was taken down 11 times in 15 minutes, and you somehow think that wasn't a bad. That's insane.
I thought
what
he
a
showed
horrible
great
take.
heart.
I'm Sean V right now. Trash take. Horrible take.
I thought he showed great heart, passion, tenacity. He got that dog in him.
Absolute clown shoe you are. Anyway, his wrestling sucks, but he is that team alpha male, and hopefully, he's getting those looks and they're preparing him because that is a team full of killer wrestlers. The reason Mike Davis is this favorite, the reason that he's my pick is because of the wrestling. Mike Davis can strike. He will not be the better striker, but he can strike. And Mike Davis can wrestle. I mentioned 5 takedowns in his last couple of fights, last 2 fights. And we just saw Mark DeCasey literally 11 takedowns. 11. And let's not forget, Viacheslav is taking this on short notice. It's a short notice fight. Did you say that this was moving to a catchweight as well?
I didn't say anything of the sort. Don't you put words in my mouth.
So anyway, Viacheslav,
you want to put something in my mouth.
What? Okay. A little bit of a Freudian slip there, Jacob. Anyway, Mike Davis is the pick. I do think these odds are very wide because if he does not get the takedowns, he's going to get lit up. Viacheslav is by far the better striker. It's not even close. So we just have to hope that Viacheslav's in shape. You're gonna disagree with that too? You're the absolute worst. What's your pick? You're the absolute worst. Go ahead.
Is it my turn now?
Yo, absolutely.
First of all, I talked about earlier about some guys are dudes, right? And I honestly think Mike Davis is a dude. This guy is very, very well-rounded, dynamic striker, power, as Angel mentioned, can wrestle as well. But he's not really a wrestler. I mean, he can wrestle, but he's not really a wrestler. I've seen him get tired in third rounds of fights and mostly striking fights. So if he comes in versus Slava and tries to wrestle, he might be able to get those takedowns. I think Slava's takedown defense is a little bit better. It's only going to keep improving, right? It can't get any, I don't think, get any worse, so it's going to keep getting improved. He's with Uriah. He's doing his thing. That's all he's got to work on, right? He's got a fantastic striker. All he needs to work on is takedown defense, takedown defense, takedown defense. Mike Davis has good takedowns, but if he comes in with a heavy wrestling game plan, I don't think he's going to be able to do it over 3 rounds. And once they get back to the feet, Slava, as you mentioned, is the better striker. I don't think he's like a super better striker, but I think he definitely is a better striker in this matchup and could find the shots there against Mike Davis if he's getting desperate, if he's getting tired in those second and third rounds. So this comes down to, can Mike Davis get the takedowns? He probably can get them early, but can he sustain those takedowns through first, second, and third rounds like Mark was able to do? And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. I think Mark knew that game plan coming in, but I think that Mike Davis comes in and tries to strike with this dude. Mike Davis is a guy that also is a very good striker, and he's a little bit more flashy. Mark had no issues being boring. He knew he had a game plan. He stuck to it, and hats off to him for doing it. Mike Davis is a guy that throws some shots, man. He's more of a flashy dude. I think he tries to stand with this guy, and I think he finds himself in some trouble doing it, whether it's earlier or later. So, with that said, not a popular pick. I'm going Slava, man. I'm going Slava. I think his takedowns let me word this correctly. I think he's able to make Mike Davis work enough on the takedowns that he might get a little bit tired, get a little bit loose with his hands on the feet, and that shot's going to be there. Slava's no joke on the feet, man. That dude is dangerous.
100% agree. He's by far. You said you don't think he's that much, but I think there's a giant gap between the two.
I think
of them
I think if there's a striking scale, Slava's a 9.5 out of 10. I think Mike Davis is an 8.
Yeah, I think there's a bigger gap. I think Mike Davis is a danger striker, but Slava's far more technical. It's not even close. An actual professional kickboxer with primo technique. So, listen, I'm not going to hate on that pick. I think Mike Davis should not be a minus 170 favorite. He is the favorite, and he is my pick because of two things. The fact that he can wrestle, and we just saw what happened, and the fact that Viacheslav's stepping up on short notice. Those are the only two reasons. Full camp between the two of them, and if we didn't just see Borshchev get taken down 11 times in 15 minutes, he'd be the favorite. So this might be an overcorrection. This might literally be an overcorrection. Oh, shit, he got taken down 11 times. Uh-oh. So they might have actually overcorrected, but he's been taken down in every fight, not just that one fight. It's not like Mark DeCasey, every fight he's been taken down. He was just able to make it work even though he got taken down. So Mike Davis is a little tougher than the rest, and he can wrestle. That's why he's the favorite. That's why he's my pick. But minus 170 is pretty wide, and Viacheslav is very good.
Yeah, I just think that the path to victory just seems so obvious. But if Slava is able to stuff that, I mean, if he stuffs that first takedown attempt, Mike Davis, I think his eyes are going to be like, oh shit, like this is bad news.
Could be. No, well, and long layoff. I agree. Long layoff, which is never great, right? It takes a little while to get back to that rhythm. So we're split here, but this is another one of those fights. You're just going to see a pick on a sheet or whatever. But the reality is, Jacob and I's analysis of this fight is almost identical. It's almost identical analysis. We just got to a different conclusion.
One of us is right, one of us is wrong. And I think everyone knows who that is.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, well, we'll find out. Anyway, 8,600 to 7,600. I think Mike Davis at 8,600 is a little overpriced because he's not going to knock out Slava. But if he gets 11 takedowns, I mean, Mark DeCasey scored 10 million points in that fight.
I mean, this could be a situation where they both score well, where Mike Davis gets 4 takedowns in the first round, maybe 1 in the second round, and then Slava finds a second round finish. So Mike Davis, even in a, getting finished, is scoring, 40 or 50 points in a loss, So it is one of those weird matchups to where I don't know if I'm going to trust Slava enough for the $7,600. I think the better value is probably Mike Davis. The path to victory is there.
Well, and takedowns and control time are literally the other than a stoppage, are the two best ways to score points in DraftKings. And that, like you said, that's almost too obvious of a path to victory, especially after Viacheslav's last fight. And it's short notice. He hasn't been preparing for this. It's not like he was this whole time he knew he's been fighting Mike Davis. He stepped up on short notice.
And Mike Davis' original opponent was Uros Medic, who is a pretty good striker.
Also a very good striker. Right. Yeah, so he's been preparing for a striker.
Not super great, but and Uros will wrestle as well. So you got to imagine, that almost hurts Slava a little bit because Uros will wrestle as well. So maybe Mike was working some wrestling already, so he's got a little bit more better conditioning. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, yeah. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners. Make a deposit, and we will send you $50 as a thank you. And don't forget to become a premium member. It is only $10 a month. Go to WeWantPicks.com. At the top, click Become a Member. You get access to all of our bets the very minute we place them. You get all the raw notes, all the picks, Prize Picks plays, DraftKings player ranking, DraftKings ownership projections, a DraftKings lineup optimizer. It will literally build lineups for you with projected ownership and projected points scored. It's only $10 a month. WeWantPicks.com. At the top, click Become a Member.